So here we are. I'm going to go ahead and start, guys. Okay. So tonight's topic is definitely about house or home protection, spell, and ritual. And the difference there between the ritual and the spell side, it's almost the exact same process. When you make it a spell side, the only thing you're doing at the end is you're packaging up some of the materials that you've used for the ritual, and you're putting it into something because you're going to have a reminder left over of it. The other thing I do that's more of the spell side is I use a candle to time all of my stuff as far as when I know that I've put enough energy and devotion into it. These run from maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So I start that when I start the spell, when I open up, and then by the time it's done burning, I also add the little bit of wax that's at the end of this because this is a clean burning candle, but I put that in the bag as well. So I keep that together. So that's what makes it the spell side. If it's just the ritual side, you're going to walk through these motions that I'm going to do a demonstration tonight of. And then you can just close it out by saying something like, so mote it be, or blessed be, however you want to close your ritual out, like knowing that it's the ended thing and your team of light can move on and do something else. So I will start with my cards. Really the biggest thing when you're getting ready to do any kind of ritual or spell work is the pre-work is kind of important. So the day of, maybe a couple hours before or several days before or even weeks before, if you want to coordinate it with a moon cycle, the pre-work is number one. If you want to work with an entity, whether it's a god or a goddess or the elements, decide that beforehand, because then the things you pick out for your protection spell, you can have their on hand. So as symbols of like you're working with that power, you're trying to invoke that entity's charisma and aura and energy. So what I think about is like people love to work with Hecate, which she's the goddess of like witchcraft and lots of witchy things. So they often represent her with a skeleton key. So you'll see in people's charm bags or spell bags skeleton keys. And it doesn't have to be, an actual skeleton key from 150 years ago. It's a representation. All of these things are representing who we're talking to. And for the elements, it's the same thing. Whether you're fire, water, earth, air, or spirit, you find an element that you really feel associates with that, and you use that. So I'm very much a candle person. So I'm assuming I always work with the fire element because I light a lot of candles, and that's just where my happy place is. And then saging is like the next natural thing for me, which is maybe air. But I don't often use a lot of dirts, mushrooms. I do use herbs, but that's witchcraft throughout. So you pick an element, a goddess or god, to go with that. And then you can incorporate elements. Next, and this is really important, even though it seems weird, your outfit. When you're doing a walking ritual or a spell, your outfit is really, really important. And there's two ways that it's important. First, when you want to get into the energy of a spell, you want to eliminate your ego, like this human form that we have to be in while we're here. You want to try to eliminate that as much as possible because you really want to be focused on like the energy that you're putting out. So you don't want to be wearing super tight, uncomfortable pants and, have a bra that's like pinching in the back, or you just don't want to be uncomfortable. So I always wear, the dog is sitting on it. I just got this like $10 super big black long dress that has 2 pockets in the front from Amazon, $10. I always throw that on. It never restricts me in any way when I walk. It is long to my feet so that it can be worn, summer in the morning or evening, and then all through the winter. And then I also have a cloak. So I'll wear my cloak when there's certain things I'm doing. If I'm going far out into the woods, like at a park or something, I definitely take my cloak with me. But this allows us to really get into that mindset of I'm about to do some super witchy stuff. And what do I feel? Because if your outfit and your clothes, everybody knows, like you can feel so sexy in an outfit, or for James, so freaking hot, right? Like just Tom Cruise in it or something. I don't know, Brad Pitt, somebody. But your outfit can really define the energy that you feel when you do stuff. So when you're getting ready to do a spell about something, I would say consider your clothing. Non-restrictive, doesn't poke you or snag you or like, weird stuff. I like things with pockets. I definitely take my cell phone with me because I'm often alone. And if something happens, I want to be able to call for help. So the outfit is the other thing. And just as some historical stuff, the reason why you'll find covens and people who work together that maybe they're not necessarily a coven, but they do spell work together, they dress in all of that. So it also takes away the group's identity. So you aren't really thinking about, oh, what's Shirley wearing tonight? You know, like it just erases all of those human thoughts that we have when we interact with each other. So your clothes are really important. The other thing is if you want to get something that slips on and you can be nude underneath, that's called skyclad. Skyclad's actually when you're like totally naked. I don't do that. I don't live in a place that's secluded enough to do that. I don't know if I would anyways, because I like the girls to have some kind of like, you know, hold them in. I'm very uncomfortable without a bra on. So it's whatever you feel comfortable with. Getting a dress and having nothing on underneath of it, or getting your cloak and having nothing on, as long as you're, you know, don't break any laws, like don't go around children or something. But so the clothes, they're lessening your identity.
And bugs. If it's summertime. Yeah.
I have to spray bug spray on me no matter what. I went out this morning to return some spell work to the earth, you know, to do cleansing. And I was just, as soon as I got out there and sat down at 6:30 in the morning, mosquitoes. I was like, damn it. I had to walk back into my house, get the bug spray and spray myself, and then sit back down and get into my work. But yeah, the bugs. Thank you for mentioning that. That's a rough one. The next thing to think about in the pre-work is when you're doing a house blessing or even the protection spell part of it, the cleansing, you always want to have a start point that you're going to stop at as well. So you want to complete that circle. If you want to start at your front door, there's a lot of different info as far as where and how to start your cleansing and your protection spells. But generally people start at the front door, and you want to make sure that however you're going to go through your entire house, you're going to end up at that point again. And so just like if you're walking your property for the outside salt circle, you want to make sure that wherever you're starting at, you remember. I always have people leave like a pine cone or a stick or a shoe, whatever it is. That way you can return to that spot and close your circle with it for the protection. Next is gathering your ingredients. So for ingredients, I got stuff together, you guys, that's just super simple. I know witchcraft can seem very complicated and many things seem unattainable, or it's just like, why do they make it complicated? So I'm using really simple stuff that you can either find in your yard, most likely, like pine needles. I have a pine tree, but mint, you can go buy mint from the supermarket and you don't have to worry about it. Basil, cinnamon. So these are some of the herbs associated with protection work. Also rosemary, if you want to get fresh rosemary. So these are all in the little herb section in the, what's it called? Produce section. So that you can go and buy these off the shelf. If you don't grow your own, that's totally fine. Go get a couple sprigs of it, whatever you don't use, hang it up in a little spot and let it dry. And then you can use it next time, because it can be fresh or dry for this because you're not burning it. So the protection side of it is definitely like the basil, the cinnamon, and the rosemary. And when you're doing the blessing side, it's also a protective herbs. But I just thought, like, if you can get an herb that does both, why not? Like, why not have something that can apply to multiple different types of spells? Lavender and pine and mint. Those three herbs cover a lot of stuff: love, protection, health, blessing. So if you get those, you can, whatever you have extra of, you can use later. The last symbol, now, I don't know if anybody else has heard of this. I've been drawing this since I was a kid. It's called the dragon's eye. I don't know if anybody else has drawn anything like this. All right. I don't know why. I use it in two ways. When it's this way, it reminds me of, the female organ. So I do this if it's for a female's house or a protection. And then when I do stuff for like my husband, I put it with more of a phallic up point. So the dragon's eye. So normally it's drawn like a uterus shape or the torus shape, but you can do it that way, or when you point it up. I use that specifically for masculine energy, and that is written nowhere. That is my own personal preference. You guys use it as you see fit. But that's the only things you really need as far as gather. Oh, I didn't go over stones. I'm sorry. The stones that you can use, which are also highly obtainable very common. Again, I don't want to give you anything that's like hard to get, but amethyst, I just have these chunks of amethyst that I got again on Amazon that I've cleansed, I've put in moonlight, and I just have them waiting in a jar for me whenever I feel like I want to do something. So I use several chunks of these within my spell stuff, and they go into the bag. I definitely don't throw them on the ground for the salt circle, but that's for the home part of it when you walk around with your stuff. Then the other one it's a little bit more expensive, but definitely worth having because it's a stone of magic protection is Lavenderite. This one I can't really make it shine, but Lavenderite has that awesome blue, like it's almost like a tiger's eye, but in a blue color. There it is. There's some sparkle. I keep this around me all the time. I have one by my bed and I have one at my desk at all times, or my altar. My desk and my altar are almost the same thing for me. And then, of course, the stand-in for any stone is going to be your quartz crystals. So just the clear quartz. You can do smoky quartz. Whenever I find them on sale anywhere, I get them from shops because I use them in spells. I program them to do things for me. And so I just always have like 10 or 12 of them laying around ready to be used for things. Because you just never know when some stuff's going to pop off and you need to work a quick spell out. You know, somebody starts talking crap and you're like, oh God, I better do that protection spell really quick. Okay, so I've gone through how to prepare yourself, clothes, your home, know what your path is going to be, sort of think that through, what elements you might want to work with, some really common herbs or stones that you can get to work with as well. And then the next thing, which is for me in witchcraft, I always say is your most important tool is your mind and the energy that you're going to bring with you to the spell or to the ritual that you want to do. Getting your mind right is, I want to say like 95% of it, because that's where the energy actually comes from. All of these other things that are associations with it, that helps raise your energy level. But your mind is the thing that's super powerful. What you do, how you think, and the thoughts going through your head are going to determine the power of the spell. So I always get in my outfit, get all my stuff together, and then I sit alone with myself and like think through what I'm going to do and why I want it, maybe what it looks like. So when I'm doing protective spells, especially for houses, like when you do your salt circle, I have 4 different things I can think of depending on the situation, the person, and whatever. As I'm walking the property and I'm slowly laying down salt, like actual Himalayan salt, thinly so I don't kill stuff, I'm picturing behind me, there's something coming with me. Like I'm beginning something that is flowing behind me and is going to close itself off. And I didn't realize until I started writing them down that it's almost like part of the 4 elements. And I only pick one. And normally my go-to is the circle of light. I have everybody when we've done stuff together, I have people direct their energy and say, as we walk, imagine that there's a point at the top of the house and you are shooting light and positive energy around from you. And as you walk, you're just filling in that space, all of us together. We're closing that bubble in like a big dome. But I call it a bubble of light because I picture it under the ground too. So it's not just like the dome shape, like a half circle. I picture it going through the entire ground as well. Like I'm walking the equator. But the other one is a firewall, a literal firewall. If you can imagine that you're walking, so this would be things for like transformation or really keeping out people who are trying to change your life, really affecting you in a way that like you can't be yourself. A firewall behind you and imagining that is super good. And all I imagine is that I'm walking and behind me fire is, going straight up and that nothing can get through it. So having the clearest image in your mind or in the mind of other people you're working with, if you do stuff together, that's going to be what raises your energy level and keeps everybody on the same page for the work. The other one is mushrooms, which I love. It reminds me more of the fairy stuff. It definitely doesn't feel as protective, but mushrooms are a super protective thing for fairies. So you can do a protection walk that you imagine mushrooms popping up behind you, and that itself is the protection circle. If you've ever seen that movie, Spiderwick Chronicles, they definitely have, you have to look through the little like looking glass to see the mushroom hedge around the house. But that was one of their things, is like the circle of mushrooms to protect themselves. So I did, waterfall, firewall. My go-to is the light bubble. That's definitely me. Okay. That is it. That is my 3 cards. That is all the information. I'll open it up for questions, and then I'm just going to show you guys how I mix stuff and how I actually do it. Yes. Cat.
I can't raise my hand, so
yeah,
I'm raising my hand. So can you back up for a minute to when you mentioned hectate and and why? Because there was a lot of information that we went through really fast, and
I do talk fast.
And so I want to understand the mention of hectate, and so are we? Anyway, can you
Sure.
go back over that really quick?
So myself, I don't normally choose an entity to work with unless, like for my wedding, I chose a goddess to work with for that day so that I didn't get rain.
Who was that?
I didn't tell secrets. But,
well, we want rain now, so who's the one?
Yes, I know exactly. And it didn't rain on my wedding day, but there was no wind either, and it was so effing hot. It was miserable.
It was awful.
You should never do stuff with the weather. I've not learned still, messing with weather is no good. So when you find a god or a goddess that you're really into, and there can be phases, and that's totally fine. Like, you don't need to devote yourself to one entity or energy for your whole path. Like, they have purposes for certain things. And with Hecate, I don't know, I think she's just popular right now, but she is the goddess of witchcraft and things that are like dark and mysterious, and sometimes the underworld, although I agree that it's somebody else, but that's okay. It's whoever. If you want to work with an entity, you figure out a symbol for them. Like Artemis would be the arrows, or like a staghorn, and it's just things that you can bring in, and then you can talk directly to that energy if that's what you want to do. Like, I mostly just say universe and team of light.
Yes, I was going to ask you, because I always say universe.
Universe,
yeah. And so if universe is our thing, then what are the kind of things that we would bring into, that we would collect for our ritual and our spell? That's
a great question. So for me, universe, I'm a part of universe. So that means that it's reflected in me. So it's things that I feel I'm drawn to and associated with. I'm a Pisces. I love the ocean. Seaweed. I mean, I pick up every stick from the water. There's just things that I find that I love, and those are all representations of me. And if you get into like meditations and really to the source, when you're trying to go really deep, what they tell you to do is think about that you meet that we're all from one thing. We're just aspects of it. So you're going to meet yourself in that middle and realize that you're a fractional point within this one entity's view of everything. Like, that's big. That's a big idea. I hope I didn't lose anybody. And so I choose everything that's mine. It's for me because it's my representation and my energy. So whatever makes me feel good, those are the things that I choose. Okay, so Patchelin says she's been working with the goddess Hecate for a few months and in a healing phase. Yes. I'm not sure if you wanted me to read that. I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. Goddess of crossroads in the underworld for sure. So we find these things that we can really relate to and feel that energy and let it flow through them. Like, let them work into your stuff. I love Persephone. I absolutely love Persephone because she is half above and half below. And I've always felt that I've never belonged in one place, that I must belong to multiple places, because even when I'm in the place I feel like I belong, I know there's another part of me. So half fish, half earth child, something, and Persephone is that to me. She lives in the underworld half the year, and then the other half she's with her mom in Springland, in the Summerlands. So I love that. For me, that really, I really like her. I don't work with her at all, but I definitely idolize her maybe. I like her energy. So there's also people who really like to work with elements. Maybe, they just want the element of fire or water or air or spirit. I would say calling it universe is more the spirit side to me, That's how I feel. I try not to give anything a name, because the more I try to name things in my own head, this is the way I think, the more I'm trying to be individualized from everything. And instead of being separated, I really want to feel like everything is one, all of us. Every time I'm out in public and I want to do the human thing of like judge somebody's situation, like tonight I was at the store and there's this guy walking out and he looks so young, but he looks like he's suffering from diabetes, where his legs are getting ready to stop work, and he's in there buying a lot of alcohol. And I'm like, damn, this is a young alcoholic and he's drinking himself to death. And like, just the whole thing. And I was like, why did he? And I was viewing it from an outsider's point. And instead I tried to think about it. This is how I've been changing myself with shadow work. Instead of seeing him as separate from me, I wonder, that was me in a lifetime. That is me in a lifetime now, to be able to view his perspective and go, he must really be hurting to have to depend on something like that and let himself get so far down. And instead it's like, it's empathy. It's no longer a judgment and a trying to wonder why he did it or who let this happen, who's responsible, pointing fingers, judging. It's more like, damn, that's part of me. You know, that person could be my twin. That could be, you know, we share something. We're all here as part of something. So, yeah, I feel like I got off track like I do, but that was working with energies and realizing that I'm a single part of something huge and that we all are. So
we don't necessarily have to pick something.
No.
We can collect.
You can collect all the pieces that make you
stuff from the earth or whatever we're drawn to.
Yep.
Candles.
You can do as many
crystals,
smoking things as you want, like lots of incense. So this would also be part of like the air function, but sound. So I'm a singing bowl fanatic and I could do this for hours, but I always, I try to clear the air that I'm getting ready to work in with this. Cause I feel like when this bowl vibrates through the air, it sends anything that's bad and lingering, like running for the hills. Like it just shatters it, like a Harry Potter movie or something, like, and everything just goes out. So I love singing bowls, and I'll do that in a space to try to get the negativity out. That's me. Like when Taylor moved out of my house, I singing bowled and smudged the hell out of that room. I had a bad roommate one time. So I had to do many, many times of cleansing and cleaning physically and energy wise. But okay, any other questions, or what questions do we have?
I think that was the only one I had. I just want to understand
the using of the other elements. Yeah. Normally I wouldn't talk about it, but sometimes when Jessica's here, she'll bring up stuff. Like she really likes to work with a lot of different energies. So I just wanted to tell you guys that it is available if that's what you want to do. Like it's definitely out there. Since this is like new witch stuff, I'm trying to give you the simplest to just get started like tonight if you wanted to do something. These are all things you'd be able to pick up relatively easy and do something within the next day or two. So yeah, but there's the plethora of knowledge out there. That's why I started this whole new witch thing, is because like sorting through all the stuff to get started is intense. But
so my next question is, when would you do so we're going to do a protection.
This is protection ritual and spell. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So when would you do that? Like when something's going on? I know we did one time, my other daughter, Jolie, was having some serious ex-boyfriend issues. And so we did a protection spell for her, and we didn't do it at her house. We actually went down to the beach and spent an hour or so on the beach doing this whole spell work there. Yeah. When I moved in here, so that was one time. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody's done this before, protection spells, but when I moved into this house, we did a cleansing, which we went through the house. Jamie helped me. We did a cleansing with sage throughout the house. And then we also went around the house and did a salt circle for protection. So when you get a new home, or when you move into a space, or when would be an occasion, that you would want to do maybe a protection spell other than the two that I just mentioned? There are others?
Yeah, no, I have one that sticks out a lot because I have a friend who stuff is always going wrong with her, like spilling food, breaking dishes, losing stuff, being late, like just all the time stuff like that. And it really clashes with my lifestyle because I'm very on point, trying to have everything together, clean, like everything has its spot, OCD a little bit. And I told her, I was like, you probably really have some negative energy stuck to you, and you need to release that and like peel that off of you, because it is making other things happen to you all the time. She doesn't mean for it to happen. And it's really funny because she doesn't understand why it keeps happening to. So if you get in this spot where bad shit just keeps happening and happening and happening, you're like, why is nothing going right for me? I would definitely do like a cleansing. So we'll always cleanse first before we do any kind of spell, but the cleansing aspect of it, and then the protection side of it is like, oh my goodness, put a light around me. I need to be surrounded in some really good vibrations so that this stuff stops happening to me. So it would be when stuff around you starts going bad all the time or a lot, like you break things, you jam your hand, then you lose your phone or you smash your phone, or, you know, when you start seeing multiples like that, you have probably acquired a negative energy, or there's somebody, I hate to say like a psychic attack type thing, but I've definitely witnessed people do bad spells, negative energy spells, which I don't do, but things have happened to people. I'm like, oh yeah, she was a crazy witch, and we told her we don't want to be friends with her, and now, you know, you have maggots like all over your house. It's very odd. So when that happens, you kind of just want to cleanse and protect. So when bad stuff happens, yes.
And it can be preemptive too.
It can be preemptive. So knowing.
Well,
knowing
like
about
you did, you did the protection spell before you went on the trip. So
somebody was
some shit was going to jump off there.
Yeah, somebody was posting on social media who I do not even follow, so other people had to tell me about it. But she was saying how she was going to go and cause trouble at this event that several family members were going to. And I just thought, oh man, I don't want anything to do with this. Like, I made me and my husband both protection satchels. I was like, you are carrying this in your pocket at all times, no questions asked. And he did. He's still good. And she tried, and she definitely caused problems with other people, you know. But for us, we just kind of like, I was like, just whenever you feel it, I was like, just rub that little bag in your pocket. And it's like, nope, not in it, not doing this with her. So because I knew it would be coming and I wasn't taking any chances, I definitely did a protection thing for that. Yes. So when you know it's coming, when there's somebody bad at work, oh my gosh, if you have got a gossiper, like gossiping is one of the lowest forms of energy that creates shit in people's lives. So don't gossip yourself. It'll bring stuff back around to you, but that can cause so many problems. You gotta just protect yourself. There's nothing you can do to control other people. Don't do it. I know we want to as empaths. We see people hurting and in pain, and we're like, oh, little bird, let me help you. No, just protect yourself and let them self-destruct in whatever way they're going to, and let them learn their lessons, because that's how they'll grow. We got to remember that without pain, there's no growth. It's unfortunate, but true. So protect yourself in that. All right. So when you know stuff's going to go bad, you have negative people around you, moving into a new place, definitely. In my house, the guy who lived there, it's kind of like the story I just told. He was definitely drinking himself to death. A younger guy, he was like 48. 2 years after we bought the house from him, he did pass. So it's like, yeah, I mean, and he was a very angry, bitter person, and he treated the house like crap. So I did many cleansings and clearing and trying to just, you know, make the space more pleasant for us. I didn't want to walk around and feel angry for no reason, because that stuff sheds and they leave it there. So in certain rooms, this is another thing to think about. If you know, like if you've had a really bad roommate situation, or, you know, if you know somebody died in your house or something like that, or, you know, if you're always in this one room and you're overcome with sadness, or you always look up really sad shit on the internet or whatever, like if you recognize those patterns, really stay in that room for longer as you're cleansing, and just like focus on pushing that out with light, with the sound bowl, like whatever you can, smoke it out. Just like ask it to return to where it came from. And the words that you say do not have to sound magical or rhyme, by the way. You guys are gonna see that. I have written nothing that I'm gonna say. It's all just gonna come out as naturally as it does. But you just want to ask it to go back to where it came from. So new house, if you're in a place all the time, it's always like sad and feels mopey and all that. And then if you know that it's coming, and then you can also do it on a yearly basis. I mean, a lot of people just go, oh, well, it's this holiday. This is my time that I do clearing and cleansing and then protection.
So there are moon cycles that correspond with cleansing and clearing.
Cleansing and clearing, yes. Not necessarily protection. Protection can be done anytime. But the cleansing and clearing is always from full moon to new moon. So once the moon reaches its full peak and starts waning, then it's the time for like letting things go, getting rid of stuff, shedding those final tears over clothes you'll never fit in again. And just sending them to Goodwill. You're like, I don't need you anymore. You've been in my closet for 5 years. I'm never going to be a size 8 again. Just let you go. Shed your last tear over them and let them go. Things like that. Yeah. That's a good time because the energy is right with the moon for release, for like the waterworks can flow easier and just like let it go. And then when the new moon starts, like, all right, well, those clothes were old and I didn't fit them. Let's start something new. And then you can build towards something after the new moon. So,
okay.
Did I answer your question?
And you did answer my question.
Okay. I did see a couple of chat things pop up. I learned after a protection spell to also do an intention spell. I'm going to go through that. Yes. To receive good energy also. Yes. And you love that my husband's open. Thank you. He's, back. I think one of the reasons that I fell in love with him is I'd never been so open with anybody about me being a witch before. And I wanted to get everything out there on the table. I was like, let me just let him reject me early if that's what's going to be. So I told him everything and he's like, wow, you're really different. That's pretty cool. I was like, oh, okay. All right. Okay. So then I had to ask him, I was like, well, how Christian are you? Like, are you go to church all the time Christian? He's like, yeah, it was expected of me. So I've turned him into a more spiritual person. He's not a witch, but he definitely understands. Like when I have stuff laying around that looks weird, he's like, what's this pile of dirt and rocks and herbs all over? I'm like, listen, it's an old spell. It needs to go back to the earth. Don't worry about it. Don't touch that. So, I'm glad to. Thank you. I love that he's who he is. I'm very fortunate. I waited a very long time to be as happy as I am with that man. And I'm so grateful. Every day I tell him, I'm very grateful, very grateful. So always tell the universe, when you get your blessings, be like, thank you, universe. Thank you so much. I'm grateful every day for this. Yeah. Okay. If there's no other questions, I will get going. It is 6:40.
So we're going to do something we haven't done before.
Yeah.
And that is a demonstration.
More of a demonstration. Yeah.
And I'm going to be a camera person. And Jamie's going to demonstrate. So if it gets a little shaky, I'm really
no shaky.
Well, it might while we jostle while I pick up the stand here and stuff.
We're gonna move it.
So we're gonna move it. So just be prepared just for a little bit of maybe, I don't know what it's gonna look like on your end, but okay.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Okay.
I just want to warn everybody what's coming.
I'll try to talk through it as much as I can, but I also wanted to try to keep as much of like what it actually looks like when I do this stuff so that you guys can see if you've never, seen anybody do one or whatever.
You should hold your tray.
I'm going to point the camera down.
Okay.
Now that I'm sliding everything. Okay. So on my tray, I have my black candle. You can use black or white. I brought both. You can't even see the black one because I'm in black. And now I just knocked it out of its thing. To get a candle to stick in a little container that it doesn't actually fit in, just put it in over the flame of some other candle and get it all hot and then push it down. And as the wax cools, it'll stick to it. So sometimes I like drip it in there, but I love these little star holders. I found them at Goodwill. I've got 8 of them. And so I always use them in my spell stuff. But I've got my black candle. I've got my amethyst. So this amethyst has already been cleansed and put in moonlight, so it's just ready to go. So all I'm going to do is like pour. That's probably too much, but I'm going to pour some amethyst in there and then set that big heavy jar away from me. I've got dirt from my mom's yard because this is her house. So whatever property you're going to do it at, you should collect dirt or grass or whatever from that property for the energy there. I've got my sage bundle and a pelican feather because I don't buy feathers. I think that's cruel. So I just find them in nature whenever I can. I have 1 million of them because I've been collecting for a long time. And people bring them to me and they're like, I found a feather. I'm like, thank you so much. It's so sweet. The herbs that I chose, so I do have 2 really big old pine trees at my house, and they shed needles like crazy. And any kind of pine tree will do for collecting needles. And you can get it from anywhere. And all I've done is once I start, I'll cleanse this with smoke. And then this is going to go into my bowl as I mix stuff up for the spell. Next, I've got my huge container of Himalayan pink sea salt. This is just from Costco, nothing special. It's supposedly, what's that called? When they're like, no humans were harmed in the taking of this sea salt kind of thing. You know, it's supposed to be super friendly and eco source. I forget the word, but I just try to buy in bulk because I use a lot of salt for spells and stuff. So that's what I have. And it's too big and heavy to set on my tray, so it's down here. But I get all my ingredients together. My sage is here. So, oh yeah, I also have rosemary and fresh mint, which I just picked because I grow mint in my yard. But then I have my Lavenderite still, and I have these 2 pieces of quartz that you can't really see, and then matches, but I don't need them. So my mom already, yeah, it feels weird to do it in front of people. Sorry, guys. All right. So how I actually do this is I sit with myself and I'm like, I make my intention very clear. And my ceremonial beginning, which, you know, you can call corners, you can cast a circle, all that stuff. But me personally, I light a candle and I say these words. It's okay, Tank. The dog is running away from me. I say, by lighting this candle, I open my communication with my team of light. I open my 3rd eye and I open my crown chakra. That's it. And when I say that, I've been saying this a long time, my team of light knows that I'm getting ready to start something. And that's when I, feel their energy come with me. So team of light, you can still be here. It's a demonstration. I don't mind you that you're here. It's totally fine. So this is the start of it. This candle lighting now, I will not blow this candle out. It will burn down all the way. We don't need to really do, I'm going to bless this side because I can't not do it if I'm doing it. You're fine with that, right?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. So once I've lit the candle, it can stay with me. If you have multiple people, somebody can carry it and go with you as you walk through the house. The beautiful thing about having a lit candle when you do spell work is it makes you go slow. You cannot rush. And that is so great because you're really spending time like pushing that energy out into the space and not letting the candle go out. And if the candle goes out, nobody's going to die. It's okay, just relight it and continue moving along. But then you just know, like you gradually learn your pace for the candle. That's it. So after lighting my candle, this is when I start using my bundle to push cleansing smoke onto the tools that I'm going to use. So this is just sage and juniper. Nothing special about it. I think I got it in Salem, which makes it sort of special, but it's very overpriced because it was Salem. So getting it from a reliable source, somebody off Amazon is totally fine. I have a ton of bundles from Amazon. This is just the current one I'm using. So with the smoke going and my mom's, I feel air, but getting it lit. And then all I do to push the smoke onto stuff for cleansing is blow it downward. And then in my head or out loud, you can say, I cleanse these tools for magical use in the protection and home blessing of Katrina's house. And that's it. I just state my intention for the use of these things. Not super complicated, doesn't have to rhyme. So then I set this somewhere where it's not going to burn anybody. Next, I'm going to mix up my materials for the salt circle that we're going to do later since I'm sitting here with everything. All I do is grab enough salt. So this is a tricky thing. Grab enough salt to where you can walk around your property. We always overdo the salt because you don't really want to run out. Like I've never run out, which is great. But I just reach in and grab a nice handful, throw it in my bowl. I've got the dirt from around her house. Now I'm not going to put the amethyst in there for spreading on the ground. It's going to walk with me as I go through for the home blessing. Then I break up my pine because pine is an element of protection. It's also health. So get some pine needle up in there. You can mix it up a bit. If you want to use one of those grinders called
The pestle.
pestle. I was going to say that, but I thought it might be wrong.
Wait.
There you go.
The pestle.
See? Yeah. The grinder for the herbs, that thing, you guys know what it's called. Yeah. I have one at home. I rarely ever use it. It's really just cute. I just throw things together with my hands. I don't mind getting dirty. So I throw that in there. I've got the fresh mint. You just take it off the stalk and it smells so good. Reminds me of a mojito. Throw that in there. I've got the dried rosemary. Same thing. I just put it in there. And then because I want to be able to reuse my amethyst and I'm not going to scatter it on the outside. I have this tiny little bowl thing, plate, tray, I don't know what it is. And I set these two things together. So now all of the elements are in one place. And this, if you can imagine, if you could see energy, this would be radiating energy of positivity and cleansing and protection.
I feel it from right here.
That's because you smell the mint.
No, I smell the sage and this, but no, I do. I mean, I really feel like there's stuff happening here.
Yes. So
I thought it was just a demo, but it's like, it's real.
I have to do it for real because then it would be, I don't know how to do it halfway. I don't know how to do a half spell.
That's fine.
Yeah. So
I'm glad I'm dressed properly.
So this would be our mixture, and this is just dirt, some salt, the rosemary, mint, and pine needles. And then underneath of it is the amethyst. I stuck my hand too close to the candle. Oops. And then, so the amethyst goes underneath of that. That way I don't have to actually get rid of my amethyst. So I have this ready to go. It doesn't need to go with me. Now we're going to move the camera so you can see the extent of this room where I'll do the cleansing first and then walk through with the materials that's the protection and the blessing part of it. So that's you, camera woman. Okay. You're having to move it. All right. I got to set this down. So
I'm going to tilt up first.
Yeah. Tilt up. Oh gosh, I just dumped all those in there.
And pick up power.
And I'm just setting my tray back on your little desk thing.
Okay. And you want me down here? Is this good?
We'll just have to see. So you guys can see the extent of the room here, which is totally fine. This is my dress and my cloak that I would normally wear depending on the time of day, who I'm with.
How's everything look?
Yeah, so they can see me in the entire room. So this is just her lanai, a small area, but I've got the tray sitting here with all of my stuff on it. So this would be like a traveling altar, if you will, because it's got everything on it that I need to do the spell and the ritual. I'm going to light my sage again. And the only thing that you have to really do is set your intention to what cleansing negative energy looks like for you and speaking words that are reflecting that. Like what I always say is, negative energy is not allowed here. You have to return to where you came from. Only positive energy remains. Negative energy is not allowed here. You return to where you came from. Only positive energy remains. Negative energy is not allowed here. Only positive energy remains. The negative energy can return to where it came from. Get the hell out, negative energy. We don't want you here. Only positive energy remains. Well, you didn't have to follow me, but I love it. I thought I was just going to sit at the end of the room.
Well, I think it's better when you're close up.
So I just go through and say like this area is really icky. I would stand here longer, keeping my bundles lit for as long as you can. This is why it's fun to have somebody follow you with an actual candle so that you can make sure that stuff stays lit. Just so that you get that really good smokiness. And you just keep saying like, no negative energy remains here. Go back to where you came from. You're never banishing negative energy. You're just sending it back to where it came from because it has to exist. Positive and negative energy have to exist. You don't need to have it in your house. You can just say, only positive energy remains here, negative energy, get out. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy with words or rhyming. Like you just say it. And then you would continue through the entire house. But this is her small lanai. And it's repetitive, but you just keep repeating it over and over again. And as you do it, that becomes that mantra for cleansing. Okay. I'm going to switch to, so now imagine we've done our whole house, but we've done your lanai. Your lanai is now clean, madam.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, depending on what you have for your tray or your setup, like everything that you do can just be specific to how you want things. I take my candle with me always. I have my elements of the protection spell, and now it's the same thing. Imagine that even though it's not the smoke coming off of it, the positive and protective energy that's coming off of this now is being walked around the house to complete a circle. So if I knew I was starting at my little tray, I love your camera work, Mom, you're doing so great. If I'm starting at my tray, I want to make sure that I come back to this exact same spot. So I'm just going to, usually this all happens in my head, but saying it out loud is like, with the power of salt and pine and mint, this space is protected. With the power of salt and pine and mint, this space is protected. With the power of salt and mint and pine, this space is protected. With the power of salt and mint and pine, this space is protected. With the power of mint and pine and salt, this space is protected. I can add in rosemary. With the power of rosemary and mint and pine, this space is protected. And so I would just repeat this over and over through the entire room. And what you can imagine to make this more useful is give energy a color. Like if you give energy a color and you can imagine pushing off purple light, yellow light, white light, whatever it is, and you're pushing this color all over your walls, like you're painting it, like you're giving it something. That having that visual makes it that much more effective because you've gotten into your mind and really let it out what it looks like to build a protection circle all the way around this. So I'm getting ready to step right back over to where my circle completed. All the way around with salt and pine and mint, this space is protected. And now you're done. So I've closed my circle. I'm exactly where I was before. And by closing a circle, I don't mean in the Wiccan sense. I mean like you did a full circle and you came back to your spot. Now there's no rain. So you guys ready to go outside? And I'll show you, I will protect your patio, your pool. I don't know. What do you think? So we'll take it outside. If the rain starts, you'll see us run a little bit. But now I don't have anybody to carry my candle. That's okay. We'll head outside for a second. And this is where, if you're putting stuff outside, you don't want to add too much salt. Hold on. Okay. Let me get the door closed. Good job. Look at you, camera woman, door person. I love it. It's the most you've ever worked on the meetup.
You can protect my grill, so it does great work.
Yeah, so her grill, which is newer in her skill set this past year or so. I'm gonna have to finagle my candle to
Or
the
my
side
fire
of me.
pit or whatever.
Yeah, I'll do the grill. So, but her entire yard, we've done this before where we walked her property. So you can just stand back a tiny bit so they can watch me circle it, I guess. Let's see. Okay, from there. So all I'm doing is I just have the exact same thing. I have the dirt from her yard. I have the pine, the mint, the salt, and the rosemary in here. And then I'm just going to go and say the same thing about protection all the way around the thing. Oh, I'm saying it in my head, sorry.
Yeah, no, you need to say it out loud.
I can't help it. It's always in my head.
Well, hang on one second. I want to get you coming from the
Oh, okay.
other direction. I want to be in front of you. Okay,
You're
here we go.
a great videographer, Mom.
All right, start talking.
So this is also where you have to gauge your salt and your materials and making sure that you don't run out. So I definitely did not do enough to do her whole yard, but I can do her grill area. And you're just sprinkling like that, just enough. This is not like building a wall with your ingredients, but you're going to say the same thing as far as, and I should say, you're supposed to be inside the circle that you're protecting. So I'm going the damn wrong way, Mom. Gosh. Okay, we're in this way.
Hold on. I want to be in front of you.
Okay.
Are we going the right way now?
No, I'm still going the, yes. Okay, I'm going the right way. So just so you guys know, if you're going clockwise, which the way the clock goes, you are building something for the protection. So I'm building a protection circle. If you're going the other way, you're doing a banishing or you're getting rid of something. So I need it to be headed the right direction. And then as you're dropping your stuff, I'm holding it with the wrong hand because I'm right-handed, but since her property is going this way, we're putting it on the other side of our body or our feet and just saying, with salt and pine and mint and rosemary,
this grill is protected.
the grill. Yeah, that sounds so weird.
This cooking apparatus is protected.
This cooking area is fully protected with salt and pine and rosemary and mint. This grill is protected. That just sounds, we're gonna have a very protected grill, you guys. So maybe nothing will burn or no fires. Okay.
That's good.
That.
No
Okay,
fires are no fire is a good thing. Yeah.
With salt and rosemary and pine and mint, this grill is protected. With salt and mint and pine and rosemary, this grill is protected. With salt and mint and pine and rosemary, don't fall. Okay.
I'm not. I
will
stepped on a
fall.
rock.
Okay. With salt and mint and pine and rosemary, this grill is protected. With salt and mint and pine and rosemary, this grill is protected. With salt and mint and pine and rosemary, this grill is protected. With salt and mint and pine and rosemary, this grill is protected. Oh my gosh, I have just enough for the grill. I'm glad I didn't try to do a bigger space. Salt and mint and pine and rosemary, this grill is protected. The circle is complete. And so that is our circle around the grill. I have the candle and the amethyst still in my hand. I'll go back to my space. I'll set the candle down to finish burning because I don't blow it out. So this will just go set. I'm done. Now the magic just sinks in. I don't have to do anything else. So we'll head back inside because I'm starting to sweat really profusely. Okay. Let me get the door for you.
Thank you.
Of course. Let me get the other one. All right.
Oh, it smells wonderful in here. My goodness. It smells wonderful in here.
It does. It does. Okay. There we go. All right. I think I'm about to get back in my chair. Yeah.
Are you good?
I think so. Okay. So I'm going to actually let my black candle burn all the way down. That way I don't cause any mischief with half done magic. But you guys can definitely talk if you want to ask questions or if you have anything that you can think of. I know the one part I didn't mention is that we would definitely have said, you know, hectate, please protect this space, or you would, that's how you would invoke the energy of an, that's how you would ask the energy you're working with to be there with you. Just name them. Simple as that. So that was my first demonstration with the camera trying to do that. I hope it wasn't too shaky. I didn't want to make anybody sick, but do we have any questions, or what questions do we have? James, I see you nodding your head, but you're still muted. Are you good?
That smells wonderful in here.
Hello, ladies.
Hi.
I don't have any
Hi.
questions. I just enjoyed watching you guys and watching you guys work together. You can feel the energy very much. So
Thank you.
I have no questions. Like, I've been practicing solitary witchcraft probably for about 5 years now, and just recently came out of the broom closet. Probably within the last 2 years. So I'm enjoying seeing how others do their spell work, do their rituals, and how they just encompass it. And you pointing out that it's not word for word, it doesn't have to rhyme, definitely makes it more enjoyable. And for me, I think that's the part, is to be able to enjoy what you're doing and to be able to share that with other people. So I'm glad I was able to make the meetup tonight. Normally I'm driving in traffic about this time at 6 o'clock. So I will try to meet up more often, and I really enjoy it. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I'm so glad you could make it tonight. This is Tankers, the pub we were talking about.
Where are you?
I'm out in Waimama, Florida. Do you know where that is? Probably south of Riverview, Gibsonton.
Oh, okay. You're not too far then. Like
Sun
maybe
City Center.
Yeah, like 30 minutes roughly.
Yeah, and I work in Tampa though. I work
okay.
yeah, so about an hour drive every day.
Yeah, you have a drive going there.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's just trying to give me kisses now that I'm done. Yeah, we are right now we're in Venice, Florida, but I live in Nokomis. So we are really hoping to do physical meetups eventually. And, I like doing them early on a weekend day or something. That way people who work during the week can definitely come. But we hope you can make it more often. And if you have anything that you'd like to see or want to know, I started this because I have so much knowledge and I just wanted to help people on their path. I've been practicing for 22 years. And I just thought, you know what? It's just time that I shout to the whole world. I'm a witch and I'd like to help other witches who don't know what they're, who can't find people. So,
and I'm new to the craft. So,
well, you look like a pro, Mom, over there.
Thank you.
Good job. Nice.
So I'm here with, with so many others who are like, I've bought so many books and I always have questions.
Yeah.
I think it still intimidates me a little bit. Because there's just so much, and my daughter's been doing this such a long time that she's there. The knowledge is just like it's just right there,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm looking. I hang out so I can learn with everyone else who's here, and she's got a lot of great stuff. So we're glad you're here.
Yes, definitely. I think one of the things that she really brings to it is she doesn't mind asking all the questions, or if I forget something, or when I, get totally off topic, she brings it back around. So she's also kind of my handler of like, get in line, keep it on track. Don't get too sidetracked. Definitely all the time. So I'm glad that she does it with me and that she found it appealing, because we get into that when we learn something new. It's like, you really want to be right. And I think that's what a lot of new witches struggle with is, am I doing stuff right? And that is a hard question, because right it's in the eye of the beholder, really, of what is right. We always say there's only one rule, and that's do no harm. So as long as you're not trying to bring harm to somebody else or yourself, I wouldn't suggest doing it to yourself either, but that's it. As far as rules go, everything else is open for interpretation. That's why I chose witchcraft. That's why I became, first I called myself pagan, and now I'm a witch. I'm a witch. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, and that was only in the last couple of years that I fully came out and decided that I didn't really care who knew. And I was going to be proud. Like, I'm witch proud right now, where I will say it anywhere. So that's tough. I feel it. So 22 years, and I'm just now really getting out there and not afraid to say my real name and go, my name is Jamie and I'm a witch. That's, that is how I say it now. So, I'm glad that you were able to come out and start practicing and, be a part of a community who's usually very open and accepting. I'm a non-denominational witch, so I'm not Wiccan, and I don't practice anything that has rules. That's why I like it, because I get to do what I want, and I don't need people telling me what to do. So that's why I'm not religious, because I don't need rules and other people telling me how to do stuff. I feel like I have a pretty good intuition and feeling about knowing what to do, so I just do it, and I don't ask for permission. So. But now I love being able to see, like you said, what other people want to do and how they practice and what they think, because I've learned so much from the people that have been on this and said, oh, I've looked into sigils, or Laura, who was here earlier, she's a stitch witch, which is so cool. Like, I hadn't even thought about that. You sew spells into stuff, just so cool. So I love that it's also helping me learn and grow by being out there for other people. So we're really glad you can make it, and hopefully one day we'll meet you in person. Yeah. I know we didn't do a whole intro this time, did we? Because we only have 5 people. And I thought my voice was definitely going to go out during this meetup, because it's so scratchy. I feel like I can't soothe it. So the ear's not helping, unfortunately. I thought that was the medicine for everything. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. I did record this, so I'm still trying to get YouTube to accept my videos since I'm new. James, did you raise your hand? Yes. You're still muted, babe, or person. I said babe. Sorry.
No problem.
It's a habit.
All good. I have a fence that butts up against my house. So how would I complete the circle when there's a post that would be right there?
So it's right against your house wall?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
can you slide stuff in between the wall post and your house?
I might be able to.
In the crack? Yeah, that would definitely be hard. She has a skinny, but we have enough room where we can get through it. You know what? I would do what you can for that and sprinkle it on the fence if you really have to, because it doesn't necessarily have to be on the ground, but just in the thing. There's also, we didn't do it inside the house, but you can do the exact same thing that I did around the grill inside your house, but you don't have to actually put stuff down like dirt. You can do salt or crushed eggshells or herbs inside the windows and doors around your house.
I have selenite in all my doors and windows.
Oh my God, selenite. Yeah, I didn't even bring that up yet. You know what? And I totally didn't do the thing to make it a spell. You guys saw the ritual part of it, and I didn't save anything for the spell.
The girl that was just on, I'm in Ruskin, so that's just right around the corner.
Look at that, a connection.
Oh,
wow. Love it. Yes.
Yeah, you forgot to do the little pouch.
I did. Oh my gosh. So super quickly, to make this a spell, everything that you just saw, all I would have done is, that's not the right bowl. All I would have done is kept, I mean, there's still some dirt and stuff in here. This and the amethyst that I did not throw away. And then when the candle burns all the way out, that goes into the bag with the dirt that would be in here, whatever dirt stuff we have left over. It's just barely any dirt. You pour that all into a bag, and pretty soon, like, here's some side wax. I'll just pretend. This is how you would complete the spell. And then you would hang this charm bag, spell bag, charm bag, whatever you want to call it. The wax would go inside from the spell candle, zip that little puppy up, and then put it somewhere for your protection. And that would be, this is the symbol of the spell that you did when all the other stuff washes away and you don't see it anymore. These reminders are what keep the energy living on in our own minds to keep having that protection. And usually people put this by the front door or the back door, like a main entrance, garage even. That would be fine. But
can I have it to hang on my door?
Yes, that's yours. And what I would do, remember when I talked about that dragon eye? Depending on the energy of the house that you want to bring in. So I would have to say that males are probably more associated with the protective thing. So I would put it with the pointy side up for protection. But it's my mom's house. I'll let her draw a symbol on it if she wants to.
Oh, should I draw a symbol on it?
No, you don't have to. It's
Okay.
just I do.
Okay.
It's something I've done forever. So I'm sorry for that last little tidbit of, that's how you make it a spell and not just a ritual. Yay, okay. So you guys are super close and could totally meet up and have coffee or something. Yeah, okay. Maybe I made that awkward. Sorry. I just, you know. I would
We're going to have a meetup here.
one day we're gonna get physical. Or
Yeah, no, we're
get
gonna
physical,
have,
we're gonna
like,
meet
We're
physically.
gonna meet physically.
Yes, that's what I meant
Yeah.
to say.
Maybe we should do a survey and see who would come if we had a meetup.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a woodsy one.
A woodsy one? Do an
Yeah.
earth walk?
Yeah, something like that.
You guys ever been on an earth walk before? Where you just like totally take off into the woods barefooted?
This is Tank. In case anybody, you haven't met Tank. This is Tank, my dog.
Yeah. He loves me. He only sees me once or twice a week. Okay, well, yes, we want to do more meetups in person. Since we've done 0, we want to do more of them. More would be more than 0. And I'm just going to start making them on the calendar and see who can come and stuff. But, the 8 holidays to celebrate would be so much fun. It's so much fun when there's a ton of people getting together to celebrate one of the holidays.
We have one coming up.
Well, yeah, June 21st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
June 1st is tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we got 3 weeks, but yeah, I'll put it out there for a physical meetup, and then we'll also have the online meetup if you guys have time. But this was great. It's so weird. We had 17 people sign up, but you guys got like the super private show. I love it. I hope that you guys got something out of it and that it was helpful in some way. And I just missed the chat. I'm sorry. It goes by so fast. Oh, I love that. Yes. Smudge sprays. Yeah. I have some of my own that I've done, but I use fresh ingredients. So they last like a week or 2 and then they might mold. So you have to be like,
what are they?
Smudge sprays.
Oh,
so you can, instead of having smoke, because I do know that some people like smoke definitely bothers them. And it would be the same thing where you would just go around and spray stuff for that protection and the cleansing. Yeah. I have a lavender one for my bed that I spray every once in a while to make sure me and my husband continue to get good rest and cuddle at night. Yeah. Gotta keep the bedroom nice. If anything else in the house, like, oh, whatever. The bedroom has to stay in good energy space. So, yeah. All right, you guys. Well, this was really wonderful. Thank you for being here for my first on-camera live demonstration. As soon as I get all of these uploaded to YouTube, they'll be accessible, like all 5 or 6 weeks worth of this stuff, because I'm just the computer stuff. Maybe I need to do a spell for that. All my computer things keep breaking down. My technology is not doing well lately. I don't know why, but
well, we're in retrograde now, so Mercury retrograde.
the communication planets decided, nope,
Yeah.
you don't get to communicate well anymore. But Saturn should be keeping things in line, you know, just because Saturn's in a retrograde, since Saturn is the ruler of like, do what I tell you to do. When it's in retrograde, it's sort of the opposite. It's like, oh, I'm giving you some balance, some freedom in your boundaries. What are you going to do with that? So I don't know. Damn Saturn and Mercury. Okay, you guys, I'm going to close it out. It was really nice seeing y'all, talking to you. James, good to see you again. Patrolyn, so cool that you could be here. Thank you. Still love the name. I'm never going to forget it. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye.